Alright, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing something a little different than normal. We're going to be doing a ham radio project. So, today I bought a kit for the TruSDX. You can see here that this is the 3D printed case that I made. And then here's all the parts for the project in this box I have yet to open. So I'll go ahead and get set up again, and I'll get the knife out and I can open it up. Alright, I'm set back up here and we'll go ahead and open it up. So this TruSDX project is it was originally, I think, a CW transmitter, a Morse code transmitter and receiver. But this one guy modified the hardware quite a bit to be able to do voice communications too. So, I might have opened this up wrong. Here we go. Okay. Make sure you guys can see that. So, I haven't watched or read much about how to build this. I've briefly watched a YouTube video on it, so this will be interesting. Hopefully it has instructions on how to build it. So, we got it open now. And here we have a plastic box with everything in it. I 3D printed this case, but I'm not sure if it comes with the screws or not to be able to mount it in it. So that'll be an interesting thing to figure out. Now, how does this? Is this just saran wrap? Maybe. Yeah, just saran wrap. So you can see here, this is the low band kit. So I'm not sure. I think it's 80, 60, 40, 20 maybe. 20, all those bands. So this is for HF. So here we've got some of the toroids and transistors and the screen and stuff. Okay. Now this is, what is this? Assembly instructions. Okay. This will be interesting to figure out. I've never actually wound complicated toroids before. I've done one for my end-fed half-wave kit, but that was it. That was pretty easy to figure out. Okay. So it looks like you have to modify the OLED screen also. Not sure if you can see that very well, but we'll get to that point when we get there. For now, here we got the circuit boards. This one is the main board, so I'm assuming this is where the screen and stuff plugs in. And then this changes from the different models, I think. If you're going to have the low band or the high band or the classic band kit. So, go ahead and move some of this stuff off to the side and we'll go ahead and get started. I might have to look up some instructions on the way here. So, let's open up. I might go ahead and look up a website real quick and then I'll be back. Alright, so I've looked up the website, and there doesn't seem to be a written instruction manual, but there is a video on how to assemble it. So I might watch that We'll see. I'll probably watch it if I get confused on a part. So I've taken the main board out of the plastic wrap, and since I bought this from like an official seller, I have a serial number here that I'm covering up. So they gave me a serial number for when I have to, or if I have to, reflash it at any point. Because I guess that's, you have to put in your serial number to change the firmware or something. I'm not sure. But here is the RF board. 5 bands. Okay. And then it seemed like he started with the main board first. So we're going to find out here. This seems to be all the components I have to install, and it looks like it comes with screws, or at least a few. Which that's good, because I was worried that I was going to have to do that. Okay, so that's for that. All these toroids are for the RF board. Okay, so let's get to soldering this together. So I'll go ahead and put in the headers here, because I know how to do that. Doesn't seem to want to take. There we go. I'm going to go get my sponge. Alright, I've got my sponge so I can take some of this excess solder off. I'll get that header on now. Next step, I'm going to check whether I need to put the sockets or not sockets, but whichever you call this side. I'm blanking. And I also have to add a audio jack. Yeah. Alright. I'm going to watch that video and come back. Alright, I've watched the first section of the video, and it would have been a little bit more self-explanatory if I had flipped it over and saw the silk screen on this side. Basically just have to stick the 3.5mm jacks in here, and then the switches in here. And then this also will have to go in this spot here. But I'll get to that after, well, I guess I'll wait until after I put these in. I have an extra switch. Why do I have an extra switch? I don't see any other spots for a switch, so I guess I will come back. I will go ahead and solder these on, and then if I ever figure out why there's an extra switch, then I will fix that. Alright, I'm gonna get soldering here. My soldering iron froze up for some reason. That's the one thing about having a soldering iron that runs off a USB-C. Okay, I have the buttons and I have the 3.5mm jacks in. And now the next step. I guess is to modify, I don't know what else we have to add on here. I think the next step is to modify the OLED. So we can see here we're given some jumper wires like this, and then it says to remove C3 and C4. So I'll go ahead and take this OLED out and try and remove C3 and C4, which they're really tiny, but not too bad. So I guess I'll go ahead and try and desolder them. Or maybe I'll try and add some solder to it. Hopefully that'll help a little bit. Okay, there's that one off. I really hope that I won't need that, because it is all a solder blob. And we'll do C4. Okay, and connect top of U2 to bottom of C6. Okay, this is the adventure. I'll go ahead and tin this, not over the thing there. Go ahead and tin it, put a little bit of solder on there. I'm going to do the other side. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see, but so top of U2. Go ahead and clean this off, get some new solder. Just picking those out of here just in case I ever need them. Hopefully these instructions in here are correct, in that I just need to do this. Tin U2 a little bit to bottom of C6. Hopefully I don't end up taking this off. No, it's kind of on there. Alright, we're back. There's my terrible solder job. Hopefully that'll work. And then I think I have to add the header onto this. I'm going to continue watching that video a little bit, just to make sure I'm not doing anything wrong. Alright, I've watched more of the video, and it appears what I've done here is correct. It also says the exact same thing on the silkscreen if I would have read it. But we also have to put in the microphone, which I have not done yet. So it's pretty simple. Plus to plus, minus to where it touches the ground plane. the guy in the video had his display already had a header soldered on, so I have to do that myself in this case. Just have to put the 4-pin header on here. Try not to melt the LCD at the same time. And then he said that you can solder it directly down onto the board, but it won't be flush with the top of the case if you were to do it that way. So you might have to add some additional space. So that just goes on there like that. And see how it's not flush? It's kind of hard to tell. I'll bring it in close. See how it's not flush with the 3.5mm jack? I guess that's what it has to be flush with for it to be flush with the top of the case. So since he never talked about how much space should go between, but I'm assuming just enough so that it is flush with the thing. So I'm just going to try and stick one of these jumper cables in between, hopefully not melted in the process. It looks like that should be the right amount. And he also said here and here put some junk headers there. So I'm going to go find mine. There we go. And just snap off 2 of them. I'm gonna go have to get my side cutters. I will be back when I get that. Alright, I have my side cutters. And I'm gonna go ahead and snap off 1 for each side. Did not realize that would go flying. Try and do it in here. There we go. And I'm sorry about the air conditioner, because I am in the basement. So he said just stick this in here. And this in here. And set it inside. One of my headers came undone. Okay. So now, I think just to make it easy, I'm just going to solder it in like this. So I'm going to go ahead. Solder it right at the top. Actually, we're going to flip it over. My headers came undone. I need to get some tape or something. Put this down. I'm going to flip these headers over the other way. Should make it a little easier to keep it in there. I'm gonna go get some electrical tape. Here's my electrical tape. The nice thing is this has a little plastic cover over the screen, so I can pretty much just tape over it. Might not be the prettiest thing in the world, but it'll keep it down. So now I'm just going to lay this down on the table. Solder in the important part. It appears my soldering iron crashed again. I might need to look into updating the firmware or something on this. Okay, there's our display soldered in, finally. Okay. Now I'm going to put this header in. He said to stick the long side into the top, but there is no long side, it's just all the same size, so I'm just going to stick it in there like that. These headers are always a sucker to get in. Don't know why my camera keeps shutting the recording off, but here we are again. I've gotten this header a little straighter, so I'm going to go ahead and solder it in all the way now. For anyone out there building this, definitely do the headers first before you do the display. Because it would have been a lot easier to do this before the display was in. Okay, there's the header in place. And now, I think the last part on this side, on this board, is the rotary encoder. But I'm not sure which way he does it. So I am going to go ahead and keep watching the video a little bit more and get this board finished off. Alright, I've watched the video through to the end of the main board, and sure enough it was just this rotary encoder that had to be soldered on, and he said to cut off, it's kind of hard to see probably, cut off, there's a little tiny notch on the top of the rotary encoder. Right here. Cut that off. And then make sure that it is flush before you solder it in. So I'm going to go ahead and solder it in now. I've already done both of those things. And then after this board should be complete. Alright, so there we go. We got the board complete. Now we just have the RF board to do. Fun times. Okay. I think we also have to solder in the speaker, but that, I believe, will be at the end. So, he said the first thing to do is the relays. I'm gonna have to probably watch it some more to be sure how I'm putting these relays in. But once I get these unwrapped, I will go ahead and shut the camera off real quick and see what he says. Alright, so I've put the relays in. It was pretty self-explanatory. It's like Legos. You just stick it in where it says where it fits, and I started soldering it, and then I realized I never turned the video back on. So I've only gotten to the first relay here, but yeah. I think after this I'm probably going to cut off the video for today, because I have been working at this for a little while. And it's starting to get a little late, so I'm going to go ahead and get these soldered in and probably fast forward through it for you. Alright, I didn't do a very good job at my soldering, but I don't want to keep messing with it because I don't want to melt the relays or anything. So I'm just going to leave it how it is. Scratch some of that off. I splashed some of the solder. So yeah, I didn't do a very good job with it, but I think that's how it's going to have to be left for today. So it depends on how it works out in the editing. Maybe this will be the first part. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for today. So next part we will solder everything else on. I really don't want to do the toroids, so that's going to be interesting. I'm going to have to print out some stuff and figure out how many turns in each I'm going to need. But yeah, we just have an SMA connector, the transistors here, the toroids, and the speaker, and we put it all in the case, and then we're done. So, with that, Alex out.